Hello, pre-algebra. Welcome back. We are on to the final lesson of Unit 2 on integers. And actually, this lesson is related to integers, but it actually has more to do with graphing than anything else. We're going to be graphing integers on a coordinate plane in the 4 quadrants. So here it is, lesson 6 of Unit 2. So first up, we need to go over some vocab words. So here is a quadrant. A coordinate plane, rather. In the middle of the coordinate plane is the origin. Usually there's a little O here to show that this is the origin. You have your x-axis that goes horizontally and your y-axis goes vertically. Usually they're labeled. Notice they are lines. They go on forever and ever and ever and ever. Positive to the right, negative to the left, and these are integers. Usually they can be decimals and fractions, but for now we're just going to deal with them as integers. Okay, and then usually there's a grid in the background to help you graph appropriately. When you look at points on a coordinate plane, they are always in this format. They always are surrounded in parentheses. If you remember from the pre-test, some of you had an issue with this, not putting parentheses. The x comes first and the y comes second. Just think alphabetically. X, Y, and Z. Eventually, in upper level math in high school, you will deal with the third coordinate of the third dimension, which is Z. So you have horizontal, vertical, and then Z will be your third dimension to add, and so you can graph in 3D to draw objects that, so like you could do on a computer and like 3D modeling. So, but anyway, that's neither here nor there for now. So, if we were to graph points on a plane here, first we're going to identify points and then we're going to graph them. So if we're to look at this graph here, point M, always start at the origin and always go left, right first, and then up and down. It's kind of like going on an elevator in a tall building. You have to go to the elevator and then go up and down. So to get to point M, you got to start here, and then you actually don't have to go anywhere. It's at the elevator shaft, and then go up. How many spots? You go up 5. So you go nowhere and then up 5. So to get to M, it's 0, 5. For K, you have to go backwards 5 and then up 2. So backwards is negative and up 2. So there's your coordinates. X, 0, positive 5, and then negative 5 and positive 2. All right, use your coordinate grid to help you with that. Use your number lines, x-axis, y-axis. There are 4 quadrants on the coordinate plane. The quadrant 1 is positive, positive. Most of the time when we graph, it's here, although sometimes we dip in these other quadrants. It is counterclockwise, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we use Roman numerals. So I, V. All right, so those are the Roman numerals. And you might see them a little bit fancier. They might have little lines going across like this. So sometimes Roman numerals are written like that. They might not. So just something to memorize that might or might not appear on the test. Okay, so always in the quadrant 1 is 2 positives. Quadrant 2 is always negative, positive. Quadrant 3 is negative, negative. And quadrant 4 is positive, negative for your coordinates. If ever you have a point that is on an axis, it is not in a quadrant. Okay, so if I were to ask what quadrant this point would be here, you would say no quadrant. That is not in a quadrant. It is neither here nor there. All right, now if we're going to graph this point H, you start at the origin. Go 4 to the right, down 3, point H. Now I'm not going to put the coordinates. I'm just going to put the letter. I'm going to graph point I. I'm going to start at the origin. Always start at the origin. Negative 1, positive 4. That's point I. I'm going to put it like that so it doesn't look like an L. All right. J. Start at 0, go 0. Then go down 2. J. Boom. There it is. Easy as that. Now, you can graph algebraic relationships. So it says here the sum of 2 golf scores is 3. So if we make a table, if let's say x is 0. 0 plus what number is 3? And if I were to graph that, 0,